Hello students, in today's class we will focus on the most important technical presentation aspects that you need to focus on when you are presenting your assignment or your exam portfolio. So it will be a brief overview of the key technical presentation guidelines. I think the most important thing to remember when you think about technical presentation is that it is easy marks. And I want to emphasize that. In most assignments and in exam portfolios, technical presentation will amount to 10 marks. So if you have an assignment that has 100 marks, technical presentation is 10% of that 100 marks. And it's not something that you need to think about. You have your CMN All 301 of this year, and that is where all the technical presentation guidelines are outlined for you. So if you work through that guide, and every time you come across something that is technical presentation that has to do with technical presentation, open that tutorial letter and look at what you need to do. It's 10 marks that you basically have in the bag. I want to first start with just sort of pointing your attention to Writing for Academic Integrity. You are all currently doing the compulsory Writing for Academic Integrity course, the MOOC. I have also just completed it. So it is very important that you take everything that you have learned in that particular course, that you keep that in mind when you are writing assignments, when you are writing exams, when you are writing and preparing exam portfolios. We also have our own in-house guide. The website is there on the slide. You can also find the details on MyUNISA. Work through that and make sure that you're always writing with the purpose of academic integrity in mind. Important, please take note of these things. You no longer need to include the plagiarism declaration. Rather, when you submit your assignment online or your exam portfolio online, there will be a little box that you need to tick, and which basically outlines everything that would have been in your plagiarism declaration. So you will merely just tick that box. So now it comes to putting your assignment together. You must always have a title page or front page, which contains your name and your student number, etc., etc. Your table of contents will always be on a separate page. The page numbers that you have in your table of contents next to the various headings will refer to the pages in the document where the headings appear. Ensure that all the references you have, or ensure to reference everything that you use in your assignment. So that is your tutorial letters, including your tutorial letter 301. And so all of those must be in your list of sources consulted. The body of your assignment, which will usually commence with an introduction, follows your table of contents on a separate page. All the pages in the body of your assignment should be numbered. You can number them wherever, either at the top or at the bottom of the page, as long as you do it consistently. The headings in the body of your assignment should exactly correspond to those in your table of contents. And in the body of your assignment, you are required to use in-text referencing. I just want to take a moment to stop here. I've received several queries about the structure of the assignment, and I've mentioned in the live Q&A session, but you can structure your assignment however you feel fit. So we are asking for an essay. If you want to write one long essay and have an introduction and a conclusion and a body, that is fine. However, I do want to note that it does make it sometimes very difficult to assess if it's just one long essay. And therefore, we do allow you to have headings for each separate section. So you will, for each particular question that you are answering in the assignment, you can have a subheading. That is also completely allowed. You must just make sure that whatever you do it correctly in terms of technical presentation. Your list of your sources consulted follows after your assignment, and it will also be on a separate page. All of the pages in the body of your assignment starts on a separate page. The sources will appear one below the other in a consolidated and an alphabetically arranged list. So now let's look at the introduction and conclusion. You must always start with an introductory paragraph to set out the problem, and it must be related to the study material that you are discussing in your assignment or your exam portfolio. And then you will always round off your work with a concluding paragraph or a summary indicating how you have solved the problem or summarized the main arguments. While you are working on the assignment or exam portfolio, you should constantly ensure that you are actually answering the questions and don't just give me a summary of the study material. Your assignment must show me that you have consulted all the prescribed material and that you actually understand the information. And this comes across very easily when we are marking your assignments and exam portfolios. We can easily see when it's just been, what you have written down is just a regurgitation of your study guide and of your the rest of your prescribed readings. So make sure that you select the appropriate material, that you know where to find your answers, and then discuss it and the questions. Discuss that material in the context of your questions as far as possible in your own words. But even if you are using your own words, remember this material is from somewhere else. It's not your own ideas. So you need to consistently reference your sources in text. Now we get to the sources consulted. So to avoid plagiarism, you need to reference all the sources that you've used in your assignment or your exam portfolio. And you are doing this in two places. In the body of the text, these are your in-text references, and then in your list of sources consulted. When acknowledging your sources or your study material, at the end of your assignment, note that the information is presented in an alphabetical order and that you need to use prescribed formatting and prescribed punctuation. Remember also, and I didn't mention it here, a list of sources consulted is never numbered and it is never bulleted. It is merely an alphabetical list. Remember that the titles of the books or the journal should always be in italics. Some general writing guidelines. Your arguments or your discussions should relate to the subheadings in all the instances. Try to avoid unnecessary repetition of the same material or the same argument. Try to avoid material that is not relevant to the task or the assignment. And I've mentioned this already in our live Q&A session. I'm not prescribing you a set amount of pages for the assignment, for example, but you need to write enough for me to give you the marks that is allocated. At the same time, don't just bombard us with information. You need to identify the relevant information and then discuss your question using that relevant information. Don't just copy the study material without showing that you have interpreted it or showing your own insight. That is just plagiarism. And more importantly, it doesn't contribute to your own personal academic development. So keep that in mind. Please avoid lengthy direct quotes. Try to formulate the central assumption or the argument in your own words. Once again, showing your interpretation, showing your insight, and acknowledge that source. Yes, you can use a direct quote maybe to emphasize the point that you're trying to make, but do not use long direct quotes. Sentences that are longer than 3 lines generally result in poor sentence construction and also in a lack of clarity. So use short sentences when you are writing. Avoid personal ways of expressing yourself, like I think or in my opinion, because these are not suitable in academic writing, unless obviously we are providing you with a very subjective question that you need to answer. Please avoid abbreviations, something like ads for advertisement, TV for television, comms for communication. Write those words out. Also, don't use contractions like can't, cannot, will not. If you are unsure about the spelling of a word, consult a dictionary. Even if you don't have a physical dictionary, there are various online dictionaries that are free to use. Remember to set your computer's word processing program to English, to either UK English or English South Africa. We do not allow US spelling. The only time that you are allowed to use US spelling or American spelling is when you are directly quoting an American author. Other presentation guidelines, please use Arial font with 1.5 spacing. Important, proofread your work for spelling, grammar, or typing errors. Okay, so even if you are using something like Grammarly, which is an artificial intelligence tool that you can use to check your grammar, you must still read your assignment once through from top to bottom, because you are a human and you can see where you have made mistakes. And remember to check all the checklists in tutorial letter 301 to ensure that your work meets all the technical presentation and also all the academic writing guidelines. So students, as I have said, technical presentation can be an easy 10 marks in the bag. Don't slip up on this. It is, sometimes you are in a rush, but remember that it is important. It is part of presenting your work in an academic, in an academic way. I hope that you have taken what is important from this presentation. Best of luck in preparing assignments, preparing exam portfolios, and remember, we are only an email away. If anything is unsure, do not hesitate to contact the module team. Thank you very much.